Following the 1982 IndyCar season, Johnny Rutherford's three-year relationship with Chaparral Cars, which consisted of 5 wins, including the 1980 Indianapolis 500 and the national championship for both USAC and CART in 1980, came to an end after team owner Jim Hall decided to shut down the program. The season saw Rutherford finish 12th in points and fail to finish better than 3rd place at Riverside. Rutherford was going to drive for Foresight Racing, a second-year team that was competing in their first full-time season in 1983. As this happened, Mario Andretti left Patrick Racing, who won the 1982 Indianapolis 500 with Gordon Johncock for the new Newman Haas Racing team. Bobby Unser came out of retirement to drive for Patrick. However, while testing at Phoenix, Unser had an incident where a piece of bodywork came loose from his car and came very close to his head. This caused Unser to retire again, this time for good. Rutherford departed Foresight to drive for the newfound seat at Patrick.
Let's go down to the pits because another driver is out of this race, Johnny Rutherford. He's with Bruce Jenner.
Johnny, how terribly disappointing. You came here on a brand new team, a brand new car. You qualified so well, right up there with a new one-lap record around this track. You get out there, you had the lead, but then the engine let go.
Yeah, Bruce, that's, you know, what can I say? That's racing. Those things happen and all of the other cliches, but it's gratifying to be able to lead a race with a brand new team, with a brand new car the first time out. So I think we're going to have some good things this season for the new sponsor, Sea Ray Boats, and everything's coming along good, and that's what it's all about. And I'm looking forward to the rest of the season.
Well, we're looking forward to watching you too.
There's one man missing from that lineup. I'm sure a lot of fans must have recognized that already, and that, of course, is Johnny Rutherford, a man who's won 3 times in this great speedway, a man who's a very successful driver indeed. Had a very serious accident here in this month of May, and we can look at that accident now and see the magnitude of the crash. The speeds here are enormous.
Jackie, Johnny Rutherford was headed into turn 3 when a gust of wind blew his car slightly wide of the line. He fought for control and smashed very, very hard into the wall, sustaining extensive fractures to his right ankle and to his left foot. It was terrible pain for him. While you see him going along backwards along the wall there, he was already in great, great pain.
Well, as ever, the rescue vehicles were on hand, but let's look at this once more in slow motion in the groove as he goes round there. That's the black area. The car begins to lose control right there. You can see the back end of the car coming out, and then, of course, he applies opposite lock, and there it goes.
But he fights it really brilliantly, Jackie, here, and the fact that he makes so many minute movements of the wheel is able to carry him a little bit further down the track, so the angle of incidence with the wall is not as bad as it might have been.
Sam Posey visited Johnny Rutherford in hospital, and we will now take an opportunity to speak with Johnny after the accident.
Johnny, first of all, how are you feeling?
Well, it's been a little rugged. My feet have given me a lot of pain, and I'm not going to be tap dancing or roller skating anytime soon. But it's getting better, just not as quick as I'd like for it to.
The piece of driving that you did to minimize the actual impact against the wall is one of the most brilliant pieces of driving I've ever seen done in a racing car. What was going through your mind as you were struggling with the car?
Oh, no. In a nutshell, it's at this speed are really kind of a phenomenon, because everything seems to, when you lose it, or in the 2 that I've had now, when you lose it, everything seems to be slow-mo up till that point. And then, bang, they suddenly gain incredible speed just before the impact, it seems like. And I don't know if that's just a mental process or something, but it seems like they do kind of break off into slow-mo, with the slide and whatever. And then, like my first one, the car did a full spin and was coming around with the nose to the wall. Well, as the car was coming around, I looked over my shoulder for the wall and saw it. Everything was all right, and the nose was coming around, and then suddenly, bam, there was the wall. Just like it just jumped over and grabbed me.
Yeah. Johnny, you've had a distinguished career. You've won so many races, 3 Indianapolises. Have you thought now, possibly in the last couple of days, ahead to the future? Is there any thought of retiring?
No, not yet, Sam. I've still strong enough and feel racy enough that as soon as I get this mess cleared up and get things organized, we'll get into a test program with the car. And
How long do you think it'll be before you'll be driving again?
I think 8-10 weeks I'll be back out scraping around again.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Rutherford's injuries in his Indianapolis crash caused him to miss the 500 for the first time since 1966, when he broke his arms in a sprint car crash at Eldora, and be out of racing until August, where he would return at Pocono.
And we've got a problem. A car into the wall. Johnny Rutherford slams the first turn wall, not far from where he hit it last year. The car comes to a stop. The right side of the car completely sheared away. Let's see if Johnny Rutherford is all right as the caution light flashes on again at the Pocono 500. Rutherford moving in the cockpit, does not appear to be injured, but the car badly damaged.
Well, it certainly looks like it, Paul. I don't know what happened, but entering turn one, something must have broke on the car, because it just looked like he didn't make a spin or anything. I don't believe it. Just totally went against the wall on the right side and took the whole right side of the car completely off. He's up out of the car now, so it looks like John is all right. Thank goodness.
Well, the crews are there. A small fire at the back of the car. Nothing serious, nothing to worry about. The right side of the car giving away, and of course that helps cushion the shock to the driver. But the only Wildcat March in the Patrick stable now has heavy damage to the right side. But the good news, Johnny Rutherford okay. There's where a section of the tire went through one of the photo stands here at the track. Gives you an idea of the energy involved. Let's go down to Gary Gerald, who's now with Johnny Rutherford.
I know this is what you don't want to be doing at this point. Can you tell us what happened? Well, I don't really know, Gary. The thing was running super. You know, I could drive it anywhere I wanted to, and we were a little short on steam, but it's a long race, and I thought when the thing was over, we'd be in awfully good shape. I went sailing into turn one, and all of a sudden, the right front corner made a sound of some sort, almost like a tire losing the air, and the thing dropped down, and then, of course, I had no control then. It went right straight for the wall. Sure was a long way from where it went down to where it hit the wall, though, I'll tell you.
Well, we had confirmation. One of the spotters with our camera down in that corner said they also heard something that they thought may well have been a tire let go. I guess if there's any consolation, you hit the wall in almost the same place as last year, but not nearly as hard this time.
Well, thank God. That was the other thing. Oddly enough, I don't know if I hit my hand or not, but my hand that I broke last year hurts a little bit right now.
Well, as they pick the car up, it's good to see that Johnny Rutherford is okay. We're under caution at Pocono.
Tough luck for Johnny Rutherford, who started second, fell back to fourth, and he had a problem last lap as the car was in turn number one. We'll take a look at what happened while we were away for commercial. Johnny Rutherford, a big puff of smoke from that engine going into turn one.
Well, remember that Johnny had just been passed by Tom Sneva and Mario Andretti. Don't know if that was one of the things that contributed to his being passed by those two, but you see Johnny looking to get down out of the racing groove and out of the way. He ducked down to the low side of the racetrack going down the backstretch. And Gordy, when he came around, it appeared as though he was coming in under power. He did not look like he was coasting at all.
Yes, he definitely looked like he was under power, but you could see the puff of smoke was pretty bad when he went into the number one corner, and evidently it's something he knew because he did slow down and get out of the groove. So it's just not just an ordinary oil leak.
There is Johnny Rutherford still running very slowly on the racetrack over in turn number 4, and it looks like that he may come back into the pit area once again. Let's go to Gary Lee in the pit area.
Jim McGee, the team manager in the Johnny Rutherford stable. You got off to a good start. What's the problem now?
Well, it looks like we've developed some kind of a water leak, a radiator or something. Maybe got a rock through the radiator, but it's pouring water out the left side of the car, so we're going to have to bring it in, and that's about it.
Terminal.
What's that?
It's terminal.
Well, we could fix it, but we're about 8 laps down now, and there's no way we can win it, so we just think we'll just park it.
Look for Johnny Rutherford back in the pits momentarily.
And Johnny Rutherford has indeed pulled behind the wall, so that makes him an early retiree from the Detroit News Grand Prix here at Michigan International Speedway. The big story right now, though, more misfortune for Johnny Rutherford, who has dropped out of the competition early.
Johnny, it's been a most trying season, but you put the new Wildcat in the front row. You got off to a good start today, but you have to be terribly disappointed right now.
Well, we really are, you know, but then it's kind of been like this all season, so I know how to handle it by now, and it's not fun. The car was feeling good, but evidently developed a water leak of some type, and was spraying out while I was running. front end started pushing pretty bad on the car, and we were trying to jack with that and make it right, but it just wasn't our day.
When things are going well, you develop your confidence, a certain rhythm. When things are going poorly, as they have this season, do you kind of get in the car and say, well, JR, what's going to happen to us today?
Well, I guess to a degree, deep down inside you do. You try to keep your confidence level up, but, you know, these things happen. And it's a brand new race car, and there are a lot of things that can happen to a new car, and we've discovered one today, I'm afraid, and that's just the way it goes.
Out early, but still with a smile on your face. Thank you, John.
Well, I've got to keep my spirits up. I want to say hi to all my family in Fort Worth and everybody, and we'll be at the next one ready to go.
Thank you, John.
Johnny Rutherford back in.
And Johnny Rutherford back into the pits. Just one lap ago he came in, he changed the tires, got some fuel, went back out just for the one lap, came back in. Now they're looking at the car. They're trying to take the hood off the car. They're bringing it up on the jack. So problems for Johnny Rutherford here in the early going here at Caesars Palace.
And Bobby, look at the disappointment on Rutherford's face there. He's really upset.
That's the epitome of disappointment, Bob, believe me.
Johnny Rutherford, the man with a bad season, appears to be out of the competition here in Las Vegas. The report now is that Johnny Rutherford's car is stuck in third gear. Rutherford out of the race. And Bruce Jenner is now down in John's pits. Bruce?
You've had such a disappointing year. You know, words can't explain what the disappointment you've had, but you seem to have your spirits high. You want to stay in there and you want to keep going.
Well, what else am I going to do? You know, I gotta keep plugging away. It's got to get better. It can't get any worse. So I'm just looking for the day that they always say it gets darkest before it gets sunshiny again. So we're working at it.
Johnny Rutherford, an unscheduled stop. All of the crews have made their routine stop at the halfway point. So Johnny being in the pits at this time, it means trouble.
He has some sort of engine problems, I think, Paul. It's what they're working on.
So Johnny Rutherford in the pits, not driving now, though, ready to climb out. As he disconnects his steering wheel is Johnny Rutherford.
Well, Johnny has some very serious problems, and it's with his engine, that's obvious, and it's very sad.
So Johnny Rutherford climbs out for the last time in what has been a very disappointing season for Rutherford. Let's go down to the pits and Bruce.
Johnny, you've been having problems all year long. Today you were out there, you were up there with the leaders at the start of the race. I thought today might be your day, but it just proved not to be.
Well, no, something went wrong in the engine, you know, it's just a bummer. Really don't know how to sum it up. This is the last race of the season, and we had a pretty good chance going in, starting in 6th. And, I just feel sorry for our sponsor, Sea Ray Boats, that we didn't do a better job for him. But that, you know,
but there's always next year, Johnny, right? And now that season's over with. We can forget about it. Now it's time to look on to next year. What do you look for?
Well, I've got a couple of things cooking. One I think will be really good in particular, and I really can't say anything until we get it put together. But it'll be a good one, and we'll be back in the hunt, as they say.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to that announcement, and best of luck to you next year, big fella.
Thank you.
All right.
We certainly do wish Johnny Rutherford all the best as he makes his plans for kart racing in 1984.
For 1983, Johnny Rutherford only started 5 of 13 races. He got a best start of 2nd place at both Atlanta and Michigan. However, he failed to finish better than 18th at Atlanta, where he led his only 6 laps of the season. Rutherford failed to finish a single race and was ranked 37th place in the final standings with no points. Meanwhile, rookie Tail Foppy became the driver at Forsyth after Rutherford left them for Patrick. Foppy won 4 races and finished 2nd in points.